I'm especially excited about today's event because I've known this guy for over 12 years, and he's just an incredibly talented person, but he's also a very good-hearted person. So y'all give it up for Grammy award-winning producer, songwriter, actor, philanthropist, and family man, Zaytoven. Give him some music, give him some music. Y'all do better than that. Give it up for my brother Zaytoven.
What's up, what's up?
Man, so one, I gotta thank you for doing this event.
Yeah.
But I also gotta thank you for something else. I'm gonna get on my soapbox for a little bit. Y'all bear with me. So 12 years ago, I just got on the radio and I was doing a lot of clubs. I was a radio DJ. But I had it in my mind. I said, I want to be a club DJ, radio DJ, and a mixtape DJ.
Yeah.
But nobody wanted to do a mixtape with me at the time. Then you was like the highest producer out. You know what I'm saying? This is around 2008. So, I'm going out to all the clubs just to listen to music and figure out what's hot in the streets. And I was just like, man, I need to meet Zay. I can't remember how we linked up. It may have been a Club Libra or something, but I reached out to you. I was like, hey, man, introduce myself, said what I was trying to do. I said, let's do a mixtape together. And you agreed. I was like, oh, I thought it was going to be harder than that. Yeah. And it was called Keys of a Master. And it was probably one of my best mixtapes, and it really helped me get established in the mixtape game. So I had to personally thank you for that, my brother.
That's what's up.
Man, so
hey, well, I had to let me thank you at the same time.
Thank me.
Cause back then, I was an up and coming producer. I was hot in the streets, but I was working with Gucci Man. Anybody here know Gucci Man, right? Y'all know Gucci Man. All right. So at the time, I couldn't get nobody to do no mixtape with me. He was like the villain of the city, so it's almost like, oh, you was Gucci, nah, we don't want to rock with you. So just me seeing you, and you was like you wanted to do a mixtape. I'm like, man, I can't wait to do a mixtape with you. Get my own name, my face on the cover. Yeah, let's do it. So, thank you at the same time because you're one of the first DJs to rock with me. So
I appreciate that, man.
Yes,
appreciate
sir.
that. So Sirius XM Pandora Playback. My brother Zaytoven in the building. And, you dropped that 18 project. First of all, how did it come about? Because it's you, Yachty, Keed, and Gotit.
Got it. I'm a producer, man. I almost just go with the flow. I always try to rock with, new and up and coming artists. And Lil Keed is making a lot of noise. Lil Gotit is a guy I look at and like, man, he's a superstar. I want to work with him. And Lil Yachty always he already like one of the newest guys that's popping. He almost like a leader of the new generation. So I got them to do a song. I was working on this project called Mama's Basement. Shout out to my mom. She's sitting right here in the front row.
Hey, shout out to Mama Zaytoven.
I was working on this project, and I was going to call it Mama's Basement because everybody come to my mama's basement. That's where I do all my music at. And I did a song with Keed and Yachty, and I was like, so I said, let's shoot a video for it, man, so it can be like one of the singles. As I'm shooting the video, it looked so good and felt so good. I said, hey, man, let's turn this into an album. And it was like, okay, bet. So we blocked off 3 days, and next week we started working on the album. So it was Keed and Gotit. We was doing the album together at first, and then Gotit came along. I said, let's add Gotit to it, and that's how you got the 18.
So how do you decide which artists that you want to work with? Obviously, you did the 18 project, but you've worked with a lot of artists throughout the years, and you've helped launch a lot of careers. But what does an artist need to have, or how do they need to present themselves to you for you to work with them?
They got to be really making noise, or it got to be something I see in them that, like, I'm a shallow guy when it comes to artists. That's almost like a little Gotit. Just cause how he look and how he move and how he act, it's like I want to do a project with him. Just cause his swag alone. So having that, or having people that's already rocking with your music, like when I first started rocking with Migos, it's like, dang, they making noise already in the club. They not known on a big scale, but around the city they making noise. That makes me want to say, you know what, let me do a project with them because I know they finna blow up. So let me go ahead and attach myself to what they got going on.
It's so funny. I was I was looking at the story of how you and Amigos first met, and how like you and Gucci was checking them out, and they was rapping over one of your beats, and you was just like, man, them dudes sound like you.
Yep.
But they, you know what I'm saying, y'all both was like, they hard as hell. You need to mess with them.
Of course, I seen them. Now I seen them before Gucci, and Gucci was at my house, and I showed him the video, like they were doing Bando, and Gucci was the only one like, man, you right, them boys hard. You need to find them. Yeah. Coincidentally, I was out with OJ the Juice, man. I seen Quavo in the club. He stepped on my foot. Like I'm going to the VIP, he stepped on my foot. And I'm like, oh, I've been looking for you. And then he like, oh, snap, you Zaytoven. I've been looking for you. Right. So, and it's, you know, next day they was at my house. So.
There it is. Well, usually on these playbacks, we play the music from the back, but you was like, you brought your own DJ up here.
I'm on DJ Roots Queen. What up, Roots?
Y'all make some noise. So the first song I want to get into is Accomplishments.
Okay.
It's the lead single off the project. Okay. And we're going to play it first, and then I'm going to let you talk about the creative process behind it.
Bet.
That joint hard, right?
Yes, sir. Yep.
Y'all make some noise for Zaytoven.
Yay.
Sirius XM Pandora Playback. You know, I think it's crazy that people may or may not know that you're originally from the Bay Area. And, you know, but you're so enthralled in Atlanta and just the music down here that, you know, you would have thought you was just born and raised on the east side.
Yeah.
How has growing up in the Bay Area, because you came down here like after you graduated high school, right? How has being in the Bay and then living in Atlanta influenced your musical process?
Well, first of all, I'm not just from the Bay.
That's
you know,
right.
I mean, I spent my high school years in the Bay, so a lot of time when I say I'm from the Bay, it's because I spent, you know, that's when you start learning who you are, you know, all your high school years. So I was a military brat. So I was born in Germany. I've been living, you know, all over the place, you know, my whole life. And I feel like all these different places, San Diego, Columbus, Georgia, Jackson, Mississippi, all these different places had influence on how I create music and how I listen to music. You know, like I'm a guy that I listen to a lot of gospel music. And sometimes I listen to gospel music that's like old people gospel music. Like, man, what you doing listening to that? You know what I mean? But it has an effect on how I approach music, how I listen to music. So all these different places has influence on my music. So now in the Bay Area, they like something that's called mob music. So when I did So Icy, that was my first big song. Anybody remember So Icy? Y'all remember So Icy? Okay. So if you listen to the music, it's like that don't come from Atlanta. Whoever did that didn't come from Atlanta. You know, it had like that California thing to it. So it's from that California to Atlanta when Atlanta is very heavy 808 driven. I just kind of had to start changing my sound a little bit because what people liked out here. And before you know it, it turned into a sound where it's like, okay, that's the sound. That's the sound everybody want to use. That's the sound everybody want to mimic. So, you know, those are the influences.
Did you ever think it would develop into that? Because when I think of the development of trap music, I think of 3 artists and 3 producers. I think of Tip and Toon, Jeezy and Shorty Red, and of course you and Gucci. Yeah. So did you think that you would have such an influence on just rap music as a whole? Never
in my life did I think that. I remember coming to Atlanta and listening to their music, and these guys are stars already. These are people that's, you know, they running the music scene already. You know, T.I. was already big. Jeezy was like the new hottest guy in the world, and they had a sound already. So I became a fan of just, you know, like, dang, they going hard. What me and Gucci doing, I feel like we having fun. We just in the basement making music that we can ride around listening to in our car, or he can go perform. I never thought that the music that we made would be, you know, the long and reigning music of, you know, trap music or hip hop music today. It's like it's still that sound that we did, you know, so long ago. So, you know, I never thought that.
So you talked about like making music in your parents' basement. What was their first reaction when you was bringing all these rappers through the house? And your mom right there, hey, so we gonna get the truth.
Yeah, their first reaction was like, hey, I don't know what you think this is, but this ain't no studio. So don't even think about that. And you know what? My mom was a little bit more supportive than my dad. Okay. You know, my dad is in the military. He like, hey man, listen, I don't know what you think this is. I'll come down here and throw all your equipment on the ground. This ain't that. And you gotta think the artists I'm dealing with, they come in smelling like weed, they got the whole house smelling, then somebody might get to fighting in the backyard. It's just like it's too much going on. So, and then sometimes I halfway had to sneak artists, you know what I mean? Gucci will call me 4 o'clock in the morning, 100 times till I pick up. Hey man, I need to come in, I need to record. So I gotta sneak him in through the back door, keep the music down low, just to make sure, you know, we got the music done. But it took now, when I did So Icy, that was in 2004. I remember my first time getting $25,000 at one time. Yeah. Now when I got this money, I called my mom and my dad. We went up to their room. I said, y'all help me count this, and I'm gonna give y'all, you know, a portion of $5,000 a piece. So that right there changed. So listen, so by the next week, my dad like, you don't need no snacks down there, nothing like that. It instantly changed right then. So
that is hilarious, man.
That's the truth. That's the real deal.
Speaking of your family, you grew up in a church family.
Yeah.
What influence has that had, not only on your music, but just you as a person? Because one thing, one of the main things I respect about you and that we have in common is you don't drink or smoke. And like a lot of people, they probably look at you crazy, look at me crazy. It's like, well, how you be in this environment? You don't drink or smoke. It's like, I just don't drink or smoke. I don't do it. Yeah. But what is like that background has had, like, as far as your influence in the music business and how you operate in the music business?
I actually feel like that alone is what has made me successful all this time. You know what I mean? I just feel like God rewarded me for being a person, a character for all this long time that it's like, okay, I'm gonna reward Zaytoven to be this, you know, big time producer or whatever. Cause I don't never feel like I didn't work way harder than somebody else or I'm that much better than somebody else. I just feel like it's a certain favor I have that God's saying, you know, I'm gonna put him in this position. So I feel like that's the reason I'm even here still doing this music to this day. My first big song in 2004. A lot of producers don't last as long and still be relevant, you know, to this day and doing music. So, you know, it helped me, I think, draw people in. Like even say Gucci. Gucci was, to me and Gucci was night and day. Gucci is a real street guy that, you know, that might come and take something from you. Me, I'm totally opposite. I'm a church boy, but then me and him with each other every day. We tight like that. So I think that alone helped me be, inspiration to the people around me, the peers around me, and that relationship alone make people want to continue to work with me. So.
No, that's real. The relationship with God is the first relationship you always have to establish before you establish others. Definitely. What other things do you think, like, especially with you and Gucci, because you talked about both of you guys starting back in 04 with So Icy, but both of you are still relevant to this day. You know, Gucci is always hit up by artists for features and is going on tour. You're still getting solicited for beats and everything like that. What do you think separates you guys from a lot of people that you started out with who might not be as relevant?
I think it really boils down to being competitive. Like me and Gucci always, like we always said that to each other. It's like we ain't going out like that. Almost just because somebody else came in and they hot and this and that, it makes us get on our game that much more. You know what I mean? That's why we always buying new jewelry and cars and stuff. Just to keep, you know what I mean? Just to keep that fire burning, as in I got to compete. I got to keep going. So, and I feel like that's the reason why we both, been relevant to this day. Because I'm not finna go out like that. I don't want to be remembered, as in dang, Zaytoven was hot, back in 2007, 2008. I don't want that, I don't want that. And I can't sleep with that, so I'm up working every day, going hard.
Y'all make some noise for Zaytoven.
Yeah.
Let's get into another song off the project. I want to get into that Reloaded. That Reloaded is tough. So let's do it. That's hot right there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Y'all make some noise for Zaytoven.
Yep.
Sirius XM Pandora Playback, man. So I got to ask you, going back to when you first got to Atlanta, because a lot of people come to this city for the exact same reason, just do music or they're moving down here to start a new life. what were some of the challenges that you faced when you first got to Atlanta? Because there's some people that come down here and do well, and then there's some people that either get finessed or they look. Yeah. I'm just being real, or they come down here and like, right. Yeah. and they worse off than when they started.
Yeah, yeah.
This city will, it'll make or break you.
Nah, you're right. When I came to Atlanta, I didn't really have intentions really. It's like in high school, I cut hair. That's how I made some money. Then I was a church musician. So now when I was living in California, I wanted to get my own studio, but I couldn't afford to stay out there. San Francisco cost too much money to live out there. So I started buying equipment and shipping it down to my mom's house. She got a basement, and they got a little support system. So I come down to Atlanta, kick it at mom's house, and I didn't have no expectations or nothing. When I came to Atlanta, I was like, okay, I go play music at the church. I find a church that I play music at. Then I cut hair. My mom made me go to barber school. Like, well, if you gonna cut hair, you gotta go get a license. You gotta get a license. So I went to barber school and started cutting hair. And I always felt like I'm a hustler. So that means if I gotta go play at a wedding, if I gotta go play at a funeral, if I gotta go cut some hair over here, this and that, this is how I make my money. Music was a hobby to me. You know what I mean? So I didn't feel like, I didn't care about if I made it or didn't make it. I felt like, okay, this is where my family at. We down here. I'm enjoying myself. I'm making money. And that's what it is. So,
The crazy part was you was still cutting hair even after your stuff got popping.
I was cutting hair with the #1 song with Papers. #1 song. I had the #1 song in the country with Papers, and I was still cutting hair at the barbershop.
Grammy Award winning Papers.
Yes, sir. The Grammy Award.
Y'all clap for that, man. So why were you still cutting hair? Like, what was it doing for you?
I was scared, bro. First of all, I love cutting hair and I love being in the barbershop. But then I was scared of that, okay, my song went #1, but I know how music is. It's like you can be hot today and then you ain't nobody tomorrow. So I started saying, you know what? Let me keep some stability. Let me keep cutting hair, keep playing music at the church. It's a blessing that I got Papers, to have a #1 song. But, I grew up watching my mom work. I grew up watching my dad. They get up and go to work every day in the morning. So I feel like I got to get up and go to work. Even though I made $100,000 off of this song, I still felt like that ain't going to happen no more. So let me continue to go to work and do that and keep stability in my life. And it wasn't till maybe 3 years after that where it's like the people at the barbershop like, hey man, you can't stay here no more, man. Like you making all the money, it's like, come on, you can't stay here no more.
I was about to ask you, what was that like? You must have had every rapper. Because he was cutting hair on where? Stonecrest, right? Yeah, Stonecrest. So you must have had like every rapper from the east side to the west side to the south side coming through Stonecrest to get their haircut and pass you a demo
CD. Yeah, exactly. That's when it got too much. And they still do that now. People still go to the barbershop and still drop off CDs. Like I'm still there. So
that's awesome, man. So what is your creative process as far as like when you're making a beat? Because we got a lot of producers in here. Do you ever get producer's block, or do you ever hit a wall where you just feel like, man, it's not going for me today?
I always hit producer blocks. You gotta think I've been making beats for so long that you gotta be like, man, hold on. You done made every beat you can make. You can't still be making beats. But the blessing for me is being a musician. Growing up in church and learning how to play music is what a lot of people don't have now. A lot of people are just kind of clicking buttons and putting, beats together like with a computer, which is nothing wrong with that. But it helps me out because I know melodies, I know sounds, I know how to play chords, progressions, and stuff like that. So it always helps me, just produce. So if I'm not in a good mood to producing, if I feel like the beats ain't all that, I still got melody and it still has, sonically a sound to it. So matter of fact, most of my beats that I feel like became big is when I produced when I didn't feel like it or when I felt like it wasn't that good. Wow. Yeah, that's crazy. All the beats I thought that was like, man, this is a smash. Don't nobody want to hear them. It's the beat that I was feeding my baby, rocking in the chair, just making a beat. That's the one like, man, I got to have that. And it's like, well, that's how I go. Mm-hmm.
So do you feel that aspiring producers, they should learn some sort of musical instrument or learn how to do music?
I definitely feel like it's needed now, because everything is so technical. Technology is taking over to the point where you don't have to be musically inclined. You don't even have to have talent to make music no more. You know, you can just, long as you tech savvy, you can make some music. You know what I mean? And I feel like it kind of waters down the music, because it just opened up the field where everybody can do it. And I feel like, yeah, we definitely got to get back to playing instruments and getting musically inclined.
Do you think because of that, the technology opening up so many doors and allowing so many people to be producers or to make beats, do you think that's the cause of a lot of producers not really getting their money's worth, or just putting their stuff on YouTube and getting pennies for their work?
Definitely. I feel like it's harder. Like, I'm a producer that's been in the game since 2004. And the reason I've been here for so long is because it's a distinct sound. You know, you can probably line up 10 producers and play my music and like, I know that's Zaytoven beat. Even if I didn't make it, okay, that's Zaytoven music. You know, that's the reason why I've been around so long. Nowadays, it's so technical that you don't know who made the beat, so it's not a lot of credit being given. And then, you probably won't be around that long because somebody else can make the beat sound just exactly like yours, without really having no talent. So I feel like, we got to get back to music.
And sell it for half the price probably, too.
Yeah, that's what they're doing. They sell it for $100. Yeah.
It's crazy, man. Let's get into another song off the project. Let's get into that G5.
G5, let's do it.
Yeah.
Zaytoven.
Yeah. Y'all rocking with that? Y'all make some noise for Zaytoven.
Yes, sir.
Sirius XM, Pandora, Playback. I want to take some questions from the audience. That's cool?
Let's do it. I'm with it.
Okay, Brianna is going to walk around with the mic. If you have a question for Zaytoven, raise your hand. She's going to bring the mic over to you. She's not going to hand you the mic, just in case y'all get some funny ideas or somebody try to freestyle
Might
or do
start
something.
rapping. Yeah, I'm gonna say
exactly.
start rapping.
There will be none of that here.
How you doing, Zaytoven? My name is Quayshawn, man. From Albany, Georgia. Hip-hop, R&B artist. My question kind of fits in with that. I know you work with a lot of artists, so like, is there like any different thought pattern when you work with trap artists versus R&B artists?
I did an album with Usher last year. I don't know if anybody remember. If you don't got it, make sure you go get it. It's called A. That's the name of the album, Zaytoven and Usher. I pretty much have the same approach. Cause artists want to be artists, and a lot of times when they call me, they're calling me because, okay, Zaytoven, we want that sound. We want your sound. The sound that you're doing for the rappers, we want that. I remember sending Usher some beats, and they was pretty, had a lot of chords and all that. He's like, yeah, this sound cool, man, but send me the same stuff you giving to Migos and all that. So, my approach a lot of times is really coming to just, do my thing, bring my style of music. Every album that I've done, I've probably done it in a week or less than a week. Because that's how much time I have with the artist. Like, even with this project right here, I didn't have a lot of time to sit and, we put all these songs together and pick and all that. No, it's like, okay, we're in the studio for these 5 days. I'm going to build every beat from scratch, and we just going to vibe out. And, that's the product you get. Yeah.
Next question.
Hey, what's happening? My name is Soul. I'm from the Bay Area, Vallejo, California, to be specific.
Okay.
So I already know you from the Bay too. So I want to know what influences has Bay music had on you, and what are those influences that you brought to the A when you came down here?
The Bay Area to me is like funky. It's like you got to know how to play some music to impress, the Bay Area. Like, I grew up off of JT the Bigger Figure, E40, Be Legit, San Quinn, Messy Marv, all these type of guys. So me bringing that style of my, music, what I was listening to and how I played music to Atlanta, infusing it with the Atlanta sound is what made, my sound so relevant. And the Bay means so much to me because my first big song was a Bay Area sounding beat, which is so icy. Yeah.
I think we have one down front. A lot of hands going up.
Just assume I'm gonna just take. What's going on, Zay? Good to see you again. My question is for someone like you that keeps working and keeps going and keeps grinding. You were back at the barbershop even when you had the #1 song in the country. Mm-hmm. When do you feel like, or what will be the point where you feel like you have made it, like you have done enough, like this is my kingdom, everything the sun touches is ours? So
Yeah.
when do you think you're gonna get to that point?
I don't know, but I'm almost striving for it every day. It's almost like when So Icy was on the radio for the first time. It's a certain high, a certain feel that's like, man, you know, it's like you can't beat that. So I'm chasing that, you know, I'm chasing that every day. Like every song I done had that hit the radio or become big, it's like, man, it's fulfilling, but it makes you want to, you know, do it all over again. So I never got to the point where I felt like I made it, even after Usher, even after all the big songs I had, I still felt like, dang, I got to work harder. I got to go harder just to maintain. So
I'm going to get this young lady up front, save you the walk.
Hi, I'm Liv. I'm from St. Louis. So my question is kind of around like your daily routine. Like, what do you find helps you prioritize your time so that you can get work done efficiently, but still to like the optimal level?
My family helps me prioritize my time. So I got a wife and 2 kids. So, you know, my 2 kids, I take pride in getting up in the morning, taking them to school every day. So I get up and take my kids to school, and it feels like, okay, this is my time at home where I can make beats, I can do music, because they don't get out to 3 o'clock, so I got all this time, you know, until I got to see them again. So that helps me keep music, you know, a certain slot for music. Then my wife, she like to go hang out, like when I got to go be out at certain events and things like that. So it's just, that alone helps me, it helps keep me in the box and I'm almost like a robot. You know, you almost gonna set your time to me because I'm gonna do the same thing every day, you know, almost at the same time. So, and I think that's what, you know, that discipline has kept me relevant for so long and kept me going hard.
I just want to piggyback off that question. We're going to ask some more questions. So how do you find a work-life balance? Because you are a family man, but, you know, you're in high demand. You have artists that come over to your house to record. Shoot, you had me over at your house when we was working on that mixtape.
Exactly.
So, like, and you get calls probably all throughout the night. So where do you find that balance? And when do you tell certain artists, like, hey, bro, like, I'm with my family right now. We're going to have to hold that conversation till later.
Well, the good thing is, like I say, when I drop the kids off, I have time to make music. And I'm a believer in being prepared. So when whoever calls me and they need some music, I can send it to them right now. You know, I'm always prepared for it, because it's like you said, so many artists calling me, I need some beats, I'm working on my album, or I want to do a whole album with you, or this and that. I always got beats stored up, and then I'm always prepared to create on the spot. So, you know, that allows me to do everything I'm doing. Like I say, I do whatever albums I do, whether it's Future or whoever, we doing that in a week. I'm coming to the studio for a week, then that's going to be done. So, you know, that helps me, you know, kind of balance my time out.
Take a couple more questions.
What's going on, Zay? My name is Cicelo. Real quick, you had talked about you was getting equipment from the basin and the down here. And, you know, when you doing the audio stuff, it's like a learning curve. So who taught you how to hook up all, you know, your ins and outs, your XLRs, all that good stuff, you know what I'm talking about?
It was definitely a learning curve for me when it came to equipment. Anybody I knew that had a studio, I'm asking them questions. I'm going to the Gotit Center every day, trying to see how you hook this up, how you make this work. And I had my stuff hooked up wrong for a long time. You know what I mean? Like, even like if you go back to the early Gucci mixtapes and all that, it sounded almost distorted. I didn't know how to mix. I didn't really know how to, you know, fix my drums in the MPC in the machine I was using. But it sounded so edgy and gutter that we were just rolling with it, like, okay, that sounds good. Let's keep going. You know, and to me, I feel like that's one of the reasons I'm successful today. Now, I never been a perfectionist. It's almost like we want to get the stuff done. We work horses, so it's like, okay, we ain't got time to think about it, the sound super quality or this and that. We just trying to get 10 songs done today. So, and in the midst of doing that, you'll learn different things. You know what I mean? It took years to learn to make all this stuff sound right like how I do now. But you know, that learning curve is what I think made me who I am today. Yep.
First of all, I want to give you props for Birds of a Feather.
Okay.
I saw it about 5-6 years ago, and I'm like, that was my kind of thing because I saw it. I'm like, that's me. That's independent.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put that thing out myself.
Yeah.
You know. But I want to ask you, with you being for a new generation, everybody's favorite producer, who was it, whether East Coast, West Coast, or the South, that make you still, like a producer from the past, that make you still like, ooh, dang, how that turned out like that?
Man, every interview, every early interview, people would ask me like, man, who was the producer that you looked up to and this and that, or who inspired you? Now, I will say I was just a fan of music, period. Like back in the day, I used to spend all my money on buying every CD that came out, whether it's gospel, whether it's R&B, whether it's rap. But I took to a lot of producers like, Timbaland, Dr. Dre, and Neptunes, and, all the hot producers, Manny Fresh back in the day. But the one that stood out the most was DJ Quick. I was like a DJ Quick fan. It's like, man, DJ Quick, y'all don't know nothing about DJ Quick. Y'all know who DJ Quick is. But it was DJ Quick and it was MC8. Now, MC8 and DJ Quick was, beefing back in the day. But their music, man, was just so, it's like it's jazzy, it's funky, it's just real musical. So now when I listen to my music today, I was just thinking about this maybe about 2 weeks ago. I was listening to my music and I turned on MC8. I'm like, man, this is where my music come from. It's like all the piano rolls and the flutes playing. It's like subconsciously when I make music now, I still got that stuff in the back of my mind. So it's like those are the guys that I really said, okay, these are my favorites. So I met DJ Quick about 2 years ago.
What was that like?
He asked to take a picture with me. So that's crazy. Now that's crazy. It's like I was scared. They're like, dang, man, that's DJ Quick. That's who I be talking about all the time. He was like, oh, you Zaytoven? Man, take a picture with me for my niece. I said, that's crazy.
All right.
That's
hey, how
what's
you
up.
doing? My name is EMS from Detroit. I want to know how serious is it, or how serious did you take it when you first started off making beats or selling beats? How serious is it to get the money versus the splits on the split sheet? Which one is more important? And I'm just gonna say this: when I first got to Atlanta, it was 2008, and I used to be over there on Gresham Road, and I tried to sell beats to Woe and Juice and all of them, and they said that you was charging 100, and I did not believe that. So I want to know what's more important, the upfront money or the points?
Well, back then I wasn't charging nothing. I was giving them, man, listen, this was my thing. I used to put 40 beats on a CD. It's like they all be like a minute and something. So everybody in the city had Zaytoven beats, and there's like 40 beats on there. And I was doing that because I was like, well, if these beats get all over the place, somebody gonna be rapping on them, and somebody gonna be talking about, oh, Zaytoven going hard, or Zaytoven give me these beats for this. So it'll keep my name in everybody's mouth. So I still do that to this day. I don't never worry about money up front. It's like I want to get you the product, you know what I mean? So
Y'all clap for that.
yeah.
Especially all you artists out there. We'll take one more question.
Hey, hi, my name is Lyric Richey. I think that you basically just answered the question that I had. The first question is, what would your advice be to any aspiring producer or artist that's trying to just get their foot in the door, maybe get a placement? And I mean, to me, that's what it is.
That's
like,
what it is.
Put your stuff out there, period. But then I guess to piggyback off of that, what would be your advice for longevity in the industry, not just with fame and everything, but like financially, so that you can live a happy life and be able to be a family person after you've kind of established yourself?
Well, I think that was my whole thing. Me giving out all these beats for free, I knew something was gonna pop off. I knew somebody's song gonna make it to the radio or something. So I gotta put out all these, all these beats to see, because I know it's more opportunity there. So, and that's how I made money. Now, believe it or not, this the slick rule for producers, that's trying to come up. Now, you give all these artists the beats and all that, but then once a song blow, that's like when So Icy get big. Now, if you would have paid me $500 back in the day for that beat, that'd have been cool for me. Like, damn, I got $500 for making this beat. But since I didn't charge you nothing, now when the song blow up, I can demand my price. So now I can charge you $25,000 for this beat, just because I gave it to you for free in the first place. So that's the key to giving out the stuff first, because now once it's going, you can demand your price. You know, so I always looked at it like that. Man, take these beats, rap on all these beats. So when you call back and say, man, I need this one for my album, let me talk to my lawyer. He gonna call you. He gonna be about 40,000.
You basically getting them hooked on the product.
You gotta
first.
get hooked on the product already. Once they hooked on it, what they gonna do? They already picked it for their album. What they gonna say? We don't want it no more? Nah, you gotta pay for it now.
Facts. Let's play one more song off the project. I'm gonna let you pick it. What you want to play?
My favorite one off the project is High Top Shoes. Let's play High Top Shoes.
Y'all give it up for Zaytoven.
Yes, sir.
Sirius XM Pandora Playback, man. You know, we're winding down. I know you're on a crunch for time. You got a flight to catch. But really quick, man, I want to commend you on the community work that you're doing. You recently donated about, $25,000 to a local hospital. And they named, y'all clap for that.
Yep.
And they named a wing after you, right? Or
Yeah, they got a room after me, so.
See, that's dope, man.
That's what's up.
Tell us about your nonprofit organization that you have.
The nonprofit is called Zay Area. Anybody from the Bay, y'all know the Bay Area, Zay Area. So I said, had to represent. But it started off just as, like what I'm saying about, you know, people learning how to play instruments and getting back into, you know, learning how to play instruments. I feel like the younger generation, everybody want to do music now. Everybody want to be a rapper. They want to be a producer. They want to, you know, they want to be in the entertainment. So I just want to kind of provide instruments or certain equipment to help these young people really get into it and learn it the right way. So that was the whole thing about, you know, Zay Area. And I'm talking about schools that don't have music programs, even doing certain events at churches where these kids could come in and learn this stuff and do it the right way. And then it moved over into, addition to that, we helping, kids like we doing the children's hospital. My mom has always been a nurse, ever since I know. Like even when my kids get sick, they want to see their Nana because they know Nana know what she doing. You know what I mean? So we, we went over there and donated because we want to help, kids that need help, And my mom is a nurse. We got a passion for that. We got a passion for helping people, So I think we going, it's a sickle cell. It's mostly sickle cell. The kids that have sickle cell. So, we just trying to help our man do our part, to give back. And it's all about the young people. We're trying to raise up the young people to have character and to know they need to help somebody out when they get in a better position. So that's what it is.
There it is right there, man. So I only got 2 more questions for you, then we're going to get up out of here. Is there going to be a Birds of a Feather 3?
Birds of a Feather 3, that might be a stretch. It's like, we did Birds of, I don't know, it's a possibility. You know what I mean? But I'm still doing movies. We working on a comedy right now. It's called Finesse to Finesse. And Atlanta is the finesse city. So, like doing movies is something that I enjoy to do. I'm not trying to I treat movies like I did music. I just do it for my own personal enjoyment. If it blow up and it do well, I had a movie on Netflix. I never in my life thought I have a movie on Netflix, but I had a movie on Netflix. So, I'm doing this stuff. I'm enjoying myself, loving what I do, and then God keep opening up the doors, for it to happen for me. So,
If there is a Birds of a Feather 3, I need a cameo on this
we
one.
got
I ain't
you.
make the first 2 ones, but I need a cameo on this one.
I got you.
I'm gonna get you out of here on this, and this is a question I start asking everybody who I talk with. What is your why? And what I mean by that, why do you do what you do? Why do you produce? Why do you work with artists? Why do you do philanthropy? Why do you do what you do?
The reason why I do what I do is because I feel like it's my purpose. I feel like God gives, people different gifts and abilities, to make use of them while they down here on earth. So that's the reason why I do everything I do.
Simple as that,
Yeah,
man. Very profound. Y'all make some noise for Zaytoven one more time.
Sir. Salute.
Make sure you stream that A-Team album out on Sirius XM Pandora and all other digital streaming platforms. But make sure you listen to it on Pandora. But we gonna appreciate y'all coming. Thank you.
Salute.
Give us some music.